He's an extraordinary actor, one of my personal favorites. Please put your hands together for Ishaan Khatter. Hello.
So nice to see
you. May I request all of you to come here? And Ishaan, I'm going to request you to do the honors for Wing Commander Poonam first. Guys, let's show them some love. And for Flight Lieutenant Malhotra. Ma'am, don't go back. Please, आगे आओ. आगे आओ. And may I say a few words for what this moment means to you? Two very different fields. Both of our officers have been in frontline positions, decorated officers, brave officers. And, you know, this is a year when we've seen military conflict. They've been at the front line of it all. And we just thought it would be lovely to get somebody like you to felicitate them. If you want to just say a few words.
First of all, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Barkha, for having me. How do I feel about this? It's totally a surprise. I was told 5 seconds ago. But it's such an honor. Thank you for allowing me to show my gratitude as well. Having spent some time with the Armored Corps during prep for a film called Pippa that I did, which was a war drama. I know what it takes, and I know the grit and the resilience that the armed forces function with every single day of their lives. And so I have utmost respect for both of you. And you know, as they say, ke desh ki betiyan, this is a very, very inspiring thing to see. And my gratitude to you to let me express this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. May I just take that mic for a second? Before our officers leave, can we show them some love? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Such an honor. Such an honor. Thank you.
If I may, you have a fly in the
Fly, huh?
Where would you like?
In the middle seat. Thank you. You have a surfeit of microphones. Yes. Okay, and now let's show Ishaan some love and welcome him to our stage.
Hello.
I think you can show him some more love. Yes. That's more like it.
Thank you so much.
We love Homebound.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you.
So we're all rooting for Homebound, and I know you've been traveling to the US, to England, taking the film around to people who may not sort of have got to see it in the normal course, and we're all really rooting for it, fingers crossed. What is this moment like for you to be in India's official entry for the Oscars? I mean, it's the country, but it's also a movie. You and I have spoken about it that you really profoundly believe in. And in the end, it's a movie about hope and possibility and friendship and humanism and humanity. So how would you explain this moment to everybody here?
It's at the moment, we're putting in the work, we're doing the due diligence, we're trying to make sure as many people as possible can watch this film.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, all of you who are supporting it, saying your kind things about it, talking about it, that every word counts. It is overwhelming because, like you mentioned, it is a film that's very personal to me, it's very dear to me. Outside of being a milestone in my career, I think I always had the sense that this is, in many ways, a role of a lifetime. And but I think what's making me the proudest is that we have a film in a time where I think the world is beginning to feel more and more divisive, more and more intolerant. We have a film that is talking about humanity, that is talking about compassion and empathy, and being able to have the social awareness and the openness of your mind to just listen to the other person and understand another point of view. And I think that is ultimately what cinema is to me. And the fact that this film does that in such a beautiful way, it's undeniable in a sense. You know, I'm so proud of the fact that no matter where we have shown this film, whether it's Cannes Film Festival with film connoisseurs and critics, or at TIFF in Toronto in Canada, or at Melbourne or Zurich, now in the United States and in London, every single place, or whether it's here, in the interiors, every time we've shown this film, people have come out with this immense sense of being aware of their own privilege. They're moved to tears and a lot of gratitude for the life that we have, and also maybe a little more socially aware. And I'm really proud that that's been the unanimous reaction to this film, and just trying to do whatever we can to show it to as many people.
It is a profoundly beautiful film, and you and I have spoken a bit about this earlier, but for people who may not know, you in real life are also the child of an interfaith marriage. And the movie captures the deep friendship. I won't give away the story for anyone who hasn't seen it, please see it. The movie captures the friendship between two people of different religions, Hindu and Muslim. And it looks at the fault lines of caste and faith, but in a hopeful way, in a way that relationships of love and affection and bonds transcend these divisions. For you personally, Ishaan, growing up, being of a mixed background in terms of faith, what did religion and culture come to mean to you? How did you understand the two different faiths that you'd been exposed to?
I'm going to try and tie up all my feelings. That's a big question.
Yeah, sorry.
For me, no, not at all. Thank you. For me, that is my idea of India, actually.
I want to hear a louder clap on that. Yeah.
When you're raised in a household that is, for the lack of, another word, pluralistic or secular, or just open and liberal, you grow up like I did, going to mandirs and masjids and churches and all of them, and trying to imbibe the beauty of all of these religions and cultures and faiths. And for me, I think that is the strength of India. I think the fact that we are such a high-functioning democracy in that sense, and the fact that when you go to a place like New York or London, you love it because it's a cultural hub, it's a melting pot. You have so many different cultures. I think that is probably the progressive way to be, and that allows for so much of growth in society. Just to have different perspectives, to be able to have different people bringing in different strengths. I think that is something that is beautiful about our country. I think the fact that we have this within our grain naturally, and it's not something that has had to be enforced. I really hope we can hold on to that, because I think that it's beautiful and symbolic the way that we have shown the friendship in the film. It's a quiet act of resistance just by itself. Connection is a form of resistance when systems try to push you out or into the margins. It is not only a story of two people from different religions. It's a story of two marginalized boys who are able to empathize and understand each other on a level maybe, other people wouldn't, who don't have the same obstacles in their life. So I'm glad that it is adding to a conversation, because I think that's the only way to move forward. What I'm very proud of about this film is that it doesn't feel like it's taking a political stand to make you feel smaller or to give you a lecture.
Yeah.
This film is not an argument, it's a conversation. And I think we can all use more conversation.
Absolutely. At a time when some days it feels like we've all forgotten how to talk, with somebody who may even slightly disagree with us. But, again, to talk about you, Ishaan, growing up here in Mumbai, partly Hindu, partly Muslim, embracing all of it.
Fully human, by the way.
Fully human.
That I can vouch for.
And that's what I said, embracing all of it. Life's embrace, which is the largest thing. Did it even matter? I remember growing up not even thinking about religious identity. So and it is a privilege. And I always say, sometimes I say, I don't believe in caste. And it took a Dalit friend to say to me, you can say you don't believe in caste because you didn't face that prejudice. And so every time we say, oh, we didn't even think about this, we have to recognize that we come from a place of privilege. And that's what I'm wanting to acknowledge here. But today, if you were to talk about building those connections as a form of humanism, as a form of reconciliation, as a form of healing, as a form of love, how has that been, where would we start? Where would we start? Friendship? Conversation?
I think this is where all of those things that you said, but I think this is where, and this is not to speak of myself, but this is where I feel artists are relevant in society. And this is why I feel that it is a profession of value. And because you're like a purveyor of, you can start a conversation, you know. And I think it's much easier to bring people into a conversation by way of feeling rather than logic. Lecturing, you know. So I think step one is to be able to acknowledge, actually I would say step one is to educate. I think awareness in education is step one. If we don't know that there are problems in society, we cannot fix them, you know. And all of us, of course, are living our own personal experiences. But I think if you are a member of society that benefits from society, I think you should all yearn to give back, and the least you can do is be aware, so that you're not contributing to the ignorance that is creating problems. You know, I think you mentioned the Dalit caste and your friend. My experience with Neeraj has been so enriching. There are so many people who say, you know, this is, you're being exploitative, etc., this, that, yeah. He has to hear things like that every day. But just the fact that he is the first openly Dalit Hindi filmmaker in 100 years of cinema should tell you something. You know, the fact that he is the first person to embrace his identity. And that is not all of his being. That is not who he is as a person, and especially not who he is as a filmmaker. But he has to find a way to say something about what he believes in. And this has been his life, and therefore the film is so personal because it borrows from lived experiences and his own foremost. So I think the least we can do is try to understand.
I couldn't agree with you more. I want to ask you one more question about Homebound. I don't know how many people here know that when you were preparing for it, you actually traveled into the interiors of, I think it was Uttar Pradesh, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we went to Barabanki.
You went to Barabanki,
yes.
Correct. You went to Barabanki. And it was a sort of learning for you, not just to do some sort of method acting, slipping into character, but also to understand a little more in a granular way. And what did you discover? Because, you know, I think I shared this with you earlier, that every time I travel as a journalist, I'm just blown away by the warmth of strangers. I actually call it the intimacy of strangers. And sometimes it'll be somebody who has one roti on their plate and they will make sure you get the bada girai of, you know, from that roti. So I just want you to talk a little bit about Ishaan Khatter and the troops in Barabanki and what that was like.
The troops.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm first of all, I'm really grateful I got to be a part of a process like this, because it's very rare to get an opportunity like that. I was hungry for something which just felt like an authentic, real experience, you know. And the reason we did this, like you said, was not just kind of an actory thing where it's, oh, you know, we'll go and pick up a body language and kind of do this academically. It was to actually go beyond the academics. When we were preparing for this film, we were working on a dialect. We were working on finding the flavor of Avdi. We did about 2 months of dialect work before which we had decided we'll get to do one thing. Either we do a workshop in India or we get to travel. And I was begging him that we get to travel, you know, so that it stops being, you know, words on paper for us. And what we discovered in these 7 days was we would go interact with people from these communities, talk to them about their just their daily lives, their triumphs, their struggles. The generosity we saw was unbelievable. I mean, they would let us into their house, they'll feed us. We would be allowed to sit there, read our script. And other than what it gave us, I think it just made us feel so small, you know. This film is so much bigger than us. We're talking about millions of Shoaibs and millions of Chandans. Yeah. It's not just about these characters. And, you know, there was this one experience where we went to a village. It was our last day on this trip, and there was a family who took us in and fed us a meal. And the man of the house took Neeraj on the side and he said ke aadmi gharib hoon lekin khana acha khilaunga. And you know, it really got to Neeraj, because in that moment is when he felt ke what am I doing, you know? I'm making a film about something, but that effort is so small compared to the lived experiences, the daily lives of so many. And so we just tried to be true to that, and that was something that became an inherent responsibility without being a burden. We felt the plight, we felt, you know, the helplessness, you know, and just to give a voice is, I think, a step forward. It's so unfortunate that we live in a country where 80% of our stories are hinterland stories, but we don't get to see them on screen so often. So, yeah, it's a small step, but it came from the heart, and I'm glad that people are taking it like that.
And we're all rooting for Homebound and for you and Neeraj and the team. Now let's get to, how did this happen? Tell us, for somebody who doesn't know your life story, did you always know you were going to be in the movies? How old were you?
I did actually, you know, before I go to that, I just want to say, now I just described this, you know, small, very intimate experience for you guys in a village somewhere, you know, nameless village somewhere in northern India. But the fact that this story is, we're sitting in rooms with some of the biggest dignitaries and Academy members in LA and New York and Mr. Martin Scorsese championing this, and this film is representing India on a global scale. You know, it just goes to show that the more specific, the more universal. You know, we hear these things, but it's so true. You know, we didn't do any work to pander to a Western gaze or a Western audience. We made a very deeply rooted Indian film. It's a testament to Neeraj's craft as a filmmaker that he can make it universal, but we need to just tell our stories. That's all we need to do.
Amazing. Yeah. It is amazing, because so many of these movies otherwise fall into that Orientalist trap. They look at India in a cliched way, and this film absolutely
exoticized way
does not do that. But yes, as I said,
yes.
rooting for you. But now, tell us the story of Ishaan.
My story, I don't know where it begins. I think maybe it started in the womb or something, because like
everybody's story kind of starts.
I was like hopelessly, that's true also. Yeah. See, this
that's not unique to you.
The vein now, what to say now? My experience. No, but the truth is, I don't know when I fell in love with cinema. I think the first story my mom ever told me, and I've said this many times, so sorry to those of you who might have heard this before, but you know, they took me to a movie theater when I was under a year old. So, and usually बच्चों के साथ क्या होता है कि you will think कि, you know, they'll get impatient or रोने लगेंगे, they'll throw a fit or something like that. But in my case, I got transfixed on the screen. The movie started and I went like
and then
and I just stayed like that for like an hour and a half or something. उनको लगा बच्चे को कुछ हो तो नहीं गया बेचारे को. And they took me out in the interval and I wanted to go back in. So maybe that's where the magic of movies kind of got me.
But that's your mom's conscious memory. What is yours?
Mine, I would do Ik Pal Ka Jeena, like so many people. Hrithik sir's Step for my family.
Can you kindly?
I mean, I would be...
Wait. Okay, wait. We need the track. We need the track.
No. We don't have the track. You're running out of time.
No, that's 21.
I'll do my own song.
Okay, fair. But then do the step again.
I'll do this on that.
ये वाला on that.
हाँ तो मैं कहानी सुनाऊँ कि ये बताऊँ? So yeah, I mean that's kind of where it began for me, and then as I grew into my teenage years, I became serious about it. That's the only difference. I always knew I was passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it was a day one thing. कि मुझे acting करनी है, मुझे dance करना है. Those were my passions. But when I grew up, I kind of started watching cinema beyond just entertainment. You know, it started interacting with me. I think maybe also because I don't want to trivialize this at all, but maybe I'm somewhere on the spectrum, I think, of ADHD. I've done an online test, but I think it just captures me in a way that, you know, and one of the symptoms is hyperfocus. So I think it's what happens to all of us. You go to a dark room and a film begins and you forget your life for a while, when it's good.
But why did that make you feel you're on the spectrum?
That didn't. Many other things did. My attention span in the classroom made me feel that. But
did you do the test then?
I have.
And what did you discover?
I'm somewhere on the spectrum for sure. But again, I would not, recommend. I'm not trivializing it. I'm not saying, I'll go to a doctor and confirm it, but 100% I am. So, what it does for me is like it consumes me. I need to feel something to really enter it. At least that's my experience, and it feels extraordinary and it feels larger than life, but at the same time it's taught me so much about life. I think the films that I was able to watch in my teenage years, I would go to Mami Film Festival or IFI or even Jagran Film Festival, watch films like Anand even on the big screen, and Pyasa and it and Guide and so many, and I think it just gave me a larger perspective on life than a teenage boy from Mumbai would have. And that's what really made me fall in love with it. And then after that, I kind of started taking it more seriously. When I finished my A-levels, I studied up to my 12th. I was seriously starting to now just hang by a thread when it came to formal education. And I told my mom I want to educate myself in what I want to do in cinema. And so whatever was within my access and within my means, I tried to do. I did 1 year of a training course with Shamak as a dancer. It was a certification course. We did anatomy of dance, ballet, jazz, Shamak style, Indian folk, many things. Of course, I grew up with my mother, who's an exponent of Kathak, and she's Pandit Birju Maharaj's student. So I grew up with classical music and dance. And then I started assisting. I was an AD for about 2 years. I was on a film called Urta Punjab.
Of course.
And that was an amazing film, amazing performances. And again, such a relevant film, we were shooting in Punjab in the midst of a real drug epidemic, while it was happening around us. I remember one day going to, as an intern assistant, you do like 8 or 9 jobs, you're as good as how productive you can be. If you're productive, then I see somebody nodding. Are you an AD? I see somebody, bahut kaam karwate hain yaar. So, if you're productive and you want to learn, every department will say, you give this boy to us, So, one day I was doing photocopies of something that we call a storyboard. It's kind of like, for those of you who don't know, it's like a comic strip, you have short breakdowns in drawings. So, I was doing this photocopy in Punjab, in Amritsar. And I heard the gentleman who was doing it talking about his son who was dealing with drug addiction to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they didn't know we were making a movie about that.
Yeah.
So I guess my journey has been kind of infused with these experiences that have been socially relevant, and when I started as an actor with Beyond the Clouds with Majid Majidi, he really gave me the push and the impetus to be the kind of actor I always wanted to be. I always wanted to really push for excellence. And but the first Guru Mantra he gave me, which I try to abide by every single day of my life, is, I know you want to be a great actor. And he said this in Farsi, in Persian. He had an interpreter, he's from Iran. And he said, I know you want to be a great actor, but focus on being a great human being. Everything you want will come from there. And that's what I try to do.
So what do you think, since you seem to be somebody with a high degree of self-awareness, what is something you'd want to, that you like about yourself, that makes you think, a fine human being? And what is something you'd like to do better at? Or be better at as a person? Since Majid Majidi said this to you, and we're all constantly thinking, I wish I wasn't like this.
Apni tareef karna is so weird. I'll start with the second part.
I think
I'll start with the second part. I think, what I'm proud of is also something that I'm working towards, to be honest. So I think just to be able to, and again, this sounds like, maybe it's the phase of my life, but I think it's just to be able to listen and understand and have compassion for experiences that are not the same as yours and people that have lived lives that are very different. And I think, especially when it comes to the conversation of gender roles in society, you know, which I'll tie into today's theme as well. And we spoke about this the last time that we met. I think just being able to understand the perspective of, say, my mother, for example, you know, and lend her.
And she raised you as a single mom.
Yes, she raised me as a single mom for the most part, and she, I think the one thing that did for me is it broke there's almost like a stigma, you know, there's almost like this understanding, or maybe it's a line of respect, you could call it, but I think what it really is there's a lack of conversation in a household when you're growing up. We all live in a largely patriarchal society, and I think just to be able to talk to your mother like a person, you know, as a woman and as a friend, opened that channel up for me at such an early age that I find it easy to understand women. You know, I find it simpler, I find it easier. And I think that to me has probably been defining in a way that I'm now beginning to understand as a 30-year-old man. Now I'm beginning to understand what that did for me. And hopefully it allows me to be a better, a more tolerable, you know, man to be around.
Let me pay you a compliment since you're being coy about praising yourself. I don't know too many 30-year-olds who'd be so reflective and so thoughtful. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Right? You may agree? I have time for a few questions. Oh my God, so many hands.
We actually have a request here.
1 minute. What? Oh, you have a
Someone
request?
is a huge fan and they really want to dance with Ishaan.
Oh.
This is a very imaginative request. ये तो आपने अलग खेल दी बॉल.
ये तो clever हो गया. Okay. What's your request? You want to come up here and make your request? This
Yes,
doesn't mean
please.
that the others won't get a chance at a question after this, but yes.
I would like to dance with him, if that's possible.
What's your name?
Nandini.
Nandini, please come.
Okay. What are we dancing to? Okay. Do we have a track? Can I now play a track? Do I now
Sure,
have your
play
permission?
whatever.
Okay, let's hear it.
Parvana, somebody said. Do we have Parvana?
We have a track. Our producers are pulling it out. Let's see what they
We
pull
have a
out.
track?
Yeah, we do.
अगर मेरा गाना नहीं हुआ,
नहीं, आप ही का गाना.
तो
By director
मैं
नाच-
फिर भी नाचूंगा, लेकिन थोड़ा खराब नाचूंगा.
हुआ तो, okay.
You join us?
I might.
Who wants to see her join us?
No. This is something I don't know.
देखिए पाया पलट सकती है.
अच्छा चलिए, आप शुरू करिए, मैं
इससे थोड़ा आगे ले लीजिए गाने को
थोड़ा
प्लीज.
आगे लीजिए भाई. थोड़ा पीछे. Thank you. Say.
Thank you so much. I loved it. I'm a huge fan, and thank you so much. I am like speechless right now. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See, even I shook a leg of some kind there. Okay, there are more questions. We have time for a few more questions. Yes, here. Yeah. You. Stand up. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barkha, for giving me this opportunity. Hi, Ishaan. Hi, the Oscar star. So I was waiting and I was saving questions just for Ishaan.
Okay, so let's hear them now.
Yeah. So Ishaan, my question for you is, I've been following you since your first film. And I think when I see you as a performer, as an actor, I see a very collected person, and as someone who's having a lot of self-awareness. I would like to ask you just one thing that I'm also learning through theatre is that whenever you're giving a performance, how does it happen that you bring in the honesty in you? Is that the process? Or is it that it just comes naturally, or from where do you actually give in the moment? Because I've seen a lot of actors, I've seen a lot of films, but I just feel there's a lot of honesty that the way you perform. Yeah.
Thank you. What's your name?
Apurva.
Apurva.
I met you last year.
Good to see you again.
I mean, you have a real fan here, signed up fan, right?
I am
Of course I
manifesting.
remember you. Of
You
course.
do.
कहने की चीज़ नहीं कहते ना अरे हाँ no, I do. So I think it's a good question. It's a lovely question, and it made me reflect. And I think that I do not think it's the process. I think the process can give you tools to shut everything out and be able to function from a place of honesty. But honesty is intention. I think if that is what you want to be as an artist, that is who you want to be as a person, then you function from a place of truth and honesty. I think it is that sincerity, it is that intention that carries you through. And sometimes it gets difficult to hold on to that. Sometimes you'll shortchange that for, other things. You'll compromise it for being easy to work with, or you'll compromise it for a big paycheck or something or the other of that nature. But I think if you really care about it enough, and I think that's what it comes down to. It boils down to, do you care or do you not care? If you care about it enough, you'll find a way to come back to that. And so tools and process and craft are all things you can learn, but who you are as a person will reflect in who you are as an actor. So never lose that.
All right, so that's what we see. That's the inner you, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Apurva,
If you've seen me and loved me in my films, then that is who I am. As a
Okay.
person.
Thank you so much.
I have time for one more question. There at the back, yes.
That's
With
a
the
joke.
glasses, yes. Let's get her a mic, please. Yes.
Hi, I'm Anshika and I'm 13 years old.
What?
You're
13?
13.
Yes, I'm 13.
You're 13, I'm 30. Same difference. Just lose an end.
I'm a huge fan. I have been following you. And my question for you is that what pitch or what piece of advice would you like to give to the people from our generation who want to join the entertainment industry?
Do you want to join?
I am not really sure about it, but yeah, like I know many people who want to join, but they are not too confident about it. And I want them to be true to their selves. So what piece of advice?
Why do you feel are they not confident about? Are you not confident or are you?
I am confident, but I am not sure if I want to join the entertainment industry.
Okay.
I just want that whoever wants to should actually care about it and like be happy with what they're willing to do.
There, you said it. You said it.
You're a
It's
wise
fine.
13-year-old.
She is, yeah.
Thank you so
Anshika,
much.
It's fine to not know what you want to do. Oh, she's your
She's
daughter?
your daughter.
Everyone.
Clap for the mom.
So, Anshika, to answer your question, I think it's totally fine to not know exactly what you want to do. You're 13 years old. Everybody blooms at their own time. So no pressure on that. But if you do like it, if you do have a fascination for it, I would go as far as to say you're in love with storytelling and with cinema, then educate yourself on it. Don't see it. You cannot see it merely as an audience, although you should always put the audience first. But you know what I did, at least, and I didn't have any formal education. I didn't I didn't go to any big institutes or universities or do any Lee Strasberg courses, etc., etc. It was not within my access. But I found many things that gave me a lot of value that were within my access. And it's all about what you take from it, For example, I did a theatre course called Adi Shakti, which was very, very helpful for me. But their philosophy on acting was very different from mine. They come from a place of breadth and emotion, and it's all about reaching a state of emotion with your breath work and your physicality and not really feeling it, at least that's how I took it. And I, even though I knew that was not who I wanted to be as an actor, I took so much from that workshop. It opened up my instrument, and as an actor, your body is your instrument, right? So educate yourself, whatever you can do. Go watch movies, go to film festivals, get a group of friends, you can talk to them. Okay, what did you learn from this? What did you observe? What did I observe? Open up your perspective, your dimensions. And somewhere within that journey, you will end up getting the tools you need to be a successful actor.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said. And
Okay.
like, I love to dance.
Yeah.
And once in my school, Kartik Aryan had come for Bhool Bhulaiya 2 promotion.
Yeah.
So I was there in the group that danced with him. So like,
You dance better.
no. I'm not saying that, but like, I am really into dance, and dance is my passion. And when I was a bit younger, I wanted to become a dancer. But like, I don't have stage fright. But like, I wanted to ask that what made you really confident that yes, this is the field you really want to choose?
I mean, I always knew that I couldn't think about anything else. I was always in love with it. So I had no choice. मुझे कुएं में कूदना ही था. So, you know, for me, I had no choice. But like I said, it's totally fine to take your time and really be able to suss out whether this is something you can do seriously. And if you're doing it, I would say, don't give yourself an option B. You know?
Yes.
And one more thing I would say to the generation is don't be scared of failure. Failure is a stepping stone to success. If you don't fail, you will not learn how to be successful.
Thank you so much.
I would say get it done quickly, fail faster. Be quicker with it so that you can learn quicker.
So
Thank you so much.
Before we come to a close, what do you believe you failed at?
Nothing. No, of course we have.
अभी तो अपना lecture
We
दिया कि
have,
don't
you
be
know,
scared of failure.
I actually think I'm much more comfortable with who I am today, although it's not an easy journey. It's not easy for anybody, you know, especially
Yeah.
in my teenage years. I think I failed at being able to have my emotions in control, be able to understand my emotions. I'm still working on it. But, you know, I saw this video, very interesting video, which showed a profile of a face. Almost like a skeleton, and the eyes go backwards and they start observing the brain. And you are your own observer, and when you learn to do that and you learn to observe your brain and you understand your emotions, I think you're able to function better, and you're able to move ahead quicker because you're not overwhelmed, you're not reacting, you're responding. So I think that is something that...
Well, thank you for being so open, so reflective, so thoughtful, so sensitive, older than your 30 years, like she's older than her 13. Ishaan, I'm going to ask you to just step up here.
Sure.
Because what we're going to do is now recognize and honor Ishaan as one of the Changemakers of the year. This has been so much his year. Homebound, of course, but in so many other ways, from Royals to Homebound to, you know, your best years are ahead of you, your wonderful dancing. I want to welcome an amazing next speaker to do the honors for Ishaan, but also to then be in conversation with me. She is a woman of many parts. She is a business leader, the first woman in her family to actually join the board of her illustrious family business group, one of the leading, most respected names of India. She's also been a musician. She's been a mental health advocate. Please put your hands together for the amazing Ananya Birla. Let's show her some love. I saw. May I ask you to present Ishaan with this? Can we have a big round of applause for Ishaan? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Such a darling. Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for everything. And
Bye.
it was so
Thank
lovely
you.
talking to all of you. Bye. See you at the movies.
Bye, Ishaan. Thank you.